Good morning. Welcome to the Meltdown. Folks, I apologize for not having hit the right combination of record buttons yesterday, but we're going to cover, I guess, the same stuff that I covered yesterday. But there's more information that I want to share. And of course, market information comes throughout the day and the evening. And so there's some comments that I heard pre-market. Now I'm talking about the Dow. Before the market opened, in the pre-market, and I don't really like to tout stocks, so I'm going to mention a couple of company names. It is not an inducement, it's not a recommendation, it is the continuation of market manipulation. And the problem is that if you don't have the money, you don't have the inside track, you don't have a crystal ball to be able to guess where the money's going to go, you are on your own. And frankly, folks, that's the same problem that financial planners have. Now, if they share the information, that may be insider trading. So they're never really going to come out and tell you what's going on, and that's okay. They're not supposed to. But what they know and how they know it and how they bring it all together is what you have to be leery of, you have to be cognizant of. And so I'll get into the comments of all this, but in the pre-market, Coca-Cola decided to take a 10% stake in Green Mountain Coffee. Now, I remember a year or so ago when Green Mountain was taking a horrendous hit in its stock value. In the pre-market, it was up over 40 percentage points. Coca-Cola spent over $1 billion, and they could still spend more money and get to a 16% stake of Green Mountain. Twitter is losing some of its momentum. Now, I know that a few weeks ago, younger people are getting away from Facebook and moving towards many other companies. But in the pre-market, Twitter was down 30%. The other day I made a comment about Facebook, and Facebook is losing its, quote, youth interest. That having been said, Facebook dropped 50% from its IPO price. And it's from the IPO that I'm going to tell you it's gone up 400% since it bottomed out at around 15. And I get text messages from people wanting to know my theory about where you should be, gold or silver, rare coins. And those things are situations that I want to be able to discuss. And so yesterday's show, if you caught me live, you got to hear this. If not, then I'm going to repeat some of it. But my point in looking at the big picture is that financial planners, large corporations can move billions of dollars and make markets move. One of the articles that I'm dealing with today talks about the rise of the low-wage breadwinner. And this is something that Michael and I were bantering about last week, and I talked about on podcast. But folks, there are more people flipping burgers at $8 an hour that have qualifications far in excess of what we deem the fast food kid that takes his summer break to go to work and make a few dollars. 21% of singles live with their parents. 37% live alone. We as a nation, 21 million people, have now entered that area of the workforce pretty much because things have changed. And I reiterate constantly that the top 1% is thriving through QE. And of course, the markets are volatile. Things change drastically. I believe in precious metals. I've got lots of people. I had a business meeting the other day with a gentleman we were talking about his safety deposit box, and it weighed a couple of 100 pounds because it's full of silver. Well, you've got to be cognizant and a little bit concerned about silver bars because of the requirements for disclosure by dealers. In certain areas, city of Houston, they require your thumbprint now. It's not that you're doing anything illegal. Most people have bought precious metals because they're private when you acquire them, but the disclosure when you liquidate them is coming full force. It's coming all the way around. A like-for-like kind exchange is still something that I believe in and something that I tell people to take advantage of. If you own 1 ounce gold bars, eagles, pandas, Canadian maple leafs, Krugerrands, you need to trade them for U.S. minted gold coins, $5, $10, and $20 denominations. Those are the older years. Coins that date from the 1840s all the way through the 1920s. In low quality, low grade, I'm going to work on about a 3 to 4% spread, my commission, if you will. And we're going to own multiple dates of coins. If you own U.S. minted gold American Eagles, it's okay to own them, but you need to own multiple dates of the coins. Now, in all of this, and I'm going to pick on my friend Ted again, Ted's getting educated, and the education process has something to do with the dealers that you choose to listen to. There are those of us that are educated, and there are then those that are not educated. And in the 20 minutes that it took me to sit and explain some of the most basic theories and concepts, I dispelled the belief that anything that's pre-1933 is not confiscatable. That is a lie. It is not true. May 1st, 1933, President Roosevelt had a gold recall. If you were not a collector, your gold had to be turned in. Now, I understand that this is not the same patriotic nation of 81 years ago. I get that. It's been almost 81 years since the recall. But collectors were exempt if they owned gold. Silver, we still put 90% silver in our coinage from 1792 to 1964, so you don't have to worry about that product. In 33, we still used silver coins. So the president didn't do that, but we were also the largest creditor nation in the world. The concept of owning different types of coins with different dates and mint marks makes you a collectivestor, an investor who collects. No, you're not interested in the coin that's worth $100,000. You're just trying to buy some $1,350 or $1,400 gold. By the way, gold is trading in the mid 1250s, 1256 at the moment. It's been as high as 1267. We're down a couple of bucks, but the market is strong. The XAU is off a hair, but it's strong. The Dow is up 129 points. And if you look at the dollar, in the 20 minutes from the time Michael and I started chatting before I hit the play button, we went from only a couple of currencies and the dollar trading up to now most of the foreign currencies trading up against the dollar. The only ones now are the Canadian dollar and the yen. But folks, that's what I'm talking about. Forex traders, commodities traders, stocks, bonds, corporate money, billions of dollars affect the value of a market. Can you imagine the thought if you moved $1 billion and your position went up 40 percentage points? Now, money's not the issue for Coca-Cola, but a 40% move is a $400 million profit. Do you scratch your head and take the $400 million, or do you put more in and see if you can stoke the fire even more and get a bigger return? Because Green Mountain isn't Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola could do what it wants. And so when I come into the rare coin community, when I look at How many coins does it take to move a market? We're a much thinner market than what you guys are playing with when you play in the stock market. The NASDAQ, the S&P, I don't care which of the paper markets you're playing in. I'm talking about that discretionary money that you're putting away. Again, my friend Ted, we'll call Ted in his 60s. He's playing for 10, 20-year money, and of course, we're all concerned about where the growth of America is going, the growth of the world, the pullback of the economy, and how you're going to get ahead and what you're going to do to be able to take care of your family, your legacy. I love gold. I love gold because central banks buy gold. And of course, from a portability standpoint, a storage standpoint, gold offers a lot of protection. But I can also tell you that I like silver because the play, what I'm really looking for is the appreciation back to where we were in 2011. I had a man in here, I hadn't seen Ben in probably 3 years, a little over 3 years. And he had some silver dollars. And at the time that he came in 2010, I told him, don't do anything with them. He needed to raise some cash. If he'd have called me a year later, he'd have doubled his money. But he waited and he didn't call. And he finally came in yesterday and he got what he would have gotten back in 2010. And so what I'm trying to impress upon you is that this is a timing situation. It's something that you should keep a pulse on. You can call me as often as you like. That's 281-548-COIN, 281-548-2646. Hit option 0. You get the live voice or leave a message. We'll return the call. You can email me. That's Brett, B-R-E-T-T, at thegoldexchange.net. I love my email, and I check it up till about 7:30, 8 o'clock every evening. And my point in all this is that if you can't afford or you're not comfortable being in a coin that's 100,000, 20,000, 10,000, there are funds, there are rare coin funds that you can buy into that deal in the tangible product. No, you're not buying the coin. You're buying into the fund. One fund that I'm really aware of that is managed by a very close friend, the last couple of years they're yielding 18%. How'd you like to get 4 or 4.5%? Do you own silver and you want to leverage some of it? I've got the avenue to do that, and I can increase your return on investment, and you will be thrilled that you did it. I'm still talking about you owning tangible metal. I don't like silver bars. If it ever came to a situation like what we've seen overseas over the last 3 to 5 years, folks, you can't carve the bar up. I had a man in yesterday who said he melted his own silver, and what he had was something that was very rough, and he enjoyed doing, but I'm not a buyer for it. It's got to go to a refinery. And as I was talking to him, and he was telling me he was buying some pre-1964 dimes, well, they were 64 and earlier, 90% dimes, he wanted to melt them. And I said, no, that's not what you want to do. A, you don't want to deface, quote, the currency. But moreover, in a situation where you might have to barter, there's a bank run. Folks, I'm not a gloom and doomer. I am a realist. And when I have seen banks run, whether it's in Egypt, whether it's in Cyprus, whether it's in California or any other part of the United States, we've had bank runs where people will line up to get their money out of the bank because the bank is closing, and you don't really understand that the FDIC can cover a bank. They can handle one. Can't handle the top 5. JP Morgan Chase goes upside down, all hell's going to break loose. You and I are going to have to bail them out again, or B of A or Wells Fargo, and the list is deep. But I'm talking about when an insolvent bank is bought out and the FDIC is called in. The regulators come in, they shut the bank down. A day or two later, they reopen under a new name because somebody else bought them out at a discounted level that was appealing to the government enough that they didn't have to come out of pocket. You have cash in the bank. I'm insinuating, of course. I don't know you well enough to know what you've got in the bank. It is illegal to put cash in a safety deposit box. I've got a major, major problem with it. 200 pounds of silver? That's too much money. And at noon on Saturday or at 5 o'clock tonight when the bank closes and they seal the vault and you have no idea how to get in there, you can't get in there. You can't access your money at 10 o'clock at night if you have to. Hopefully you don't have to. And maybe you've got some cash stashed in one of the drawers in your dresser. That's cool. But I'm concerned about the bigger picture. How do you protect yourself? How do you diversify it? How do you provide yourself that extra insurance at night? Folks, you got health insurance and car insurance and major medical and homeowners. Yeah, there's lots of them. And all of us in our community know about asset protection. We call it wealth insurance. It's called that for a reason. It is the hedge against the government. Talking to clients and just about anybody who comes up to Humble and will stand or sit and talk to me, it's the right wing that is distrusting of the government. Well, see, I'm going to tell you, I do trust them. I trust that they're going to mess this up even more. And we are going to hit a brick wall. We're going to have problems. Heck, Michael and I were talking just a few moments before I went and hit the play button about the Olympics beginning tonight in Sochi. You know, everybody is alarmed and concerned about terrorism at the games and the Soviets, and they're going to be monitoring everything that goes on from your emails to your phone calls, you name it. Somebody, Michael made a reference to, said it would be safer to go over to North Korea because at least in that case we know what we're dealing with. Homeland Security, TSA, are now on red alert because of the mention of explosives in toothpaste tubes. So I would be apt to tell you, you're going to have to be on your alert and not put a small tube of toothpaste in a carry-on because it'll go in the trash. Folks, this is a different time in the world, and we are more engaged with each other. And how does all of that play into this? I am not a get-rich-quick scheme. I am not a gloom and doomer. I'm a realist. And the reality is that quantitative easing is a disaster, and it is falling apart around the world, and everyone's going to do what it takes to keep propping the markets up. They're going to prop up stock markets to make you believe that things are well, but the majority of Americans and blue-collar workers are in trouble. We have major unemployment issues. It is a true recession around the world. We are not growing. We are in trouble. And frankly, folks, this is how you protect yourself. Now, when you decide you're going to diversify and you want to own large cents or half cents, or you want to be in dimes, quarters, or half dollars, you want to be in some collector coins, you want to own things that other people are going to want, there is a mix and a way to build it. I have mentioned a third, and a third for years. I like bullion when I think bullion is cheap. Do I still think that there is potential downside in the price of gold? You bet I do. Is it a great amount? Probably not more than about 10%, because I've seen where it takes $1,000 to $1,100 to get it out of the ground. That's what the mining shares report. So at $12.50, there's not a lot of downside. There's a lot of upside, 50% to get back to where we've seen the market trade at the 1925 level. Silver almost made it through $50 in 2011. It has 5 times more profit potential, and that's why I like it. even if it's only 3 times and you want to be conservative with it. In any case, the opportunity to make money is greater. I like Silver American Eagle sets. Buy the 29 coins from 1986 to 2014. Buy them in Mint State 69 certified holders. I'll sell them for $1,600 a set. They all come individually packaged and graded. You don't have to buy the Mint State 70s. You're trying to stay close to the spot price. I get it. So instead of buying rolls of Silver Eagles at 25% over the melt value, build the set. Sets set you up to be a collectovestor. And you say, Brett, I'm not interested in being a collector. I get that too. But the government says the new coins are deemed to be numismatic. That means they're collectible. So collect, own different years, different qualities, different dates, different mint marks. The Silver Eagle set does not include the specialty coins, the burnished or the West Points. These are the regular Silver Eagles, but own the proofs too. Own the West Points and the burnished coins. You'll pay a little bit more for them, but it establishes you as a collector. And for those of you that own bags of silver, whether they're dimes, quarters, or half dollars, or silver dollars, put them in a book. Use the duplicates. Take other positions. Being a collector is critical. Now, I love Morgan dollar sets, 96 coins from 1878 to 1921. Does not include the 1895 proof-only year, and you can buy those sets starting around 30 grand. Now, low-grade, low-quality coins you can buy for about 30 bucks a piece, $35 a piece. The 1893 San Francisco is a coin that I would only want to sell to somebody in the lowest grade that's been third-party authenticated and graded. It is a monster. In its lowest value, it's probably a $2,500 to $3,000 coin. So you got to own that one certified because you don't want to get a counterfeit. And folks, yes, people do counterfeit coins. It was done starting back in the 40s. Heck, if you go back to 1883, nickels didn't have the word cents on them. So in 1883, no cent nickel was gold-plated by the racketeers out on the West Coast and passed off as $5 gold pieces until somebody in San Francisco notified the U.S. Mint to start putting the word cents on the coins, which they did. Seems like a simple little glitch, but if you had a nickel and you could turn it into $5, you were in high cotton for months. So that's what I'm talking about. There are nuances that go far deeper than you just picking up the phone or looking online and finding out, oh, well, I can save a percent. If you spend 100 grand and you save $1,000, I can't begrudge you of it. But the education and the information that I've provided is covered in over 500 shows going back to when I started radio in 2010, all the way through August of last year before I decided to start doing podcasts. And I can tell you that unequivocally, you cannot look at a computer screen and decide the value of a coin is good or bad based on one thing. And that one thing is the grade. Dealers embellish all the time about what they've got. And you may look like you're saving a lot of money to buy an XF coin that somebody calls XF, but it's really VF. And so you save your 2 or 3%, but you got taken advantage of. And when you go back to sell it, you thought you bought an extra fine, but the dealer who's now buying it from you calls it a very fine. There are positions in our market that you should absolutely own because in the big picture, gold really is cheap. It should be trading based on the U.S. debt of $17 trillion. We should probably be at $600,000 an ounce. Not going to tell you that's going to happen. I'm not going to tell you $60,000 an ounce because until we get through 2,000, I can't even call it 3,000. But I can tell you that Ron Paul and Jim Rogers, two of the most well-respected gentlemen in our not in the industry. Ron Paul served Congress. Jim Rogers is an investment guru. he lives in Singapore. He's lived in China. And heck, the Chinese, they've sold off most of their dollars. They've cut it by 50% over the last couple of years, and they've increased their gold holdings. They believe in gold. I believe in gold and silver. So buy gold and silver. That's pretty simple. Own coins other people are going to want. And if it comes to barter, you're in a position to be able to barter it. I'm not the cheapest guy, I promise you. I'm not the most expensive either. I can tell you who some of those people are. You'll find them. But folks, if you want to get an unbiased opinion about something you're looking at or considering, give me a shout. I don't expect to get 100% of anyone's business, but the information I give you is clear, concise, and logical. It makes sense. And whether you're buying the 125 commemorative coins that have been made since the 1980s, or you're going back in time to the 1890s when the Isabella quarter was created through the 1950s, and you get the half-dollar series, 50 different types, 144 coins total, including the dates and mint marks of every one that was produced from 1892 to the 1950s. Folks, there's a reason to do this, and you come in and chat. I show you the red book. I suggest you buy one. Spend 10, 20, 50, 100, 500,000. Take physical delivery of your product. There's a lot of ways to protect yourself. This is just another one of them. That's why it's about diversification. Anyway, I never try to get off a podcast without thanking Texas Children's Hospital, both the Downs Clinic and the Ronald McDonald House. Now, there are two Ronald McDonald houses here in the Houston area. The 50-room facility off of Texas Children's is a fabulous facility. I'm talking about the 20 rooms on the 4th floor at TCH. Now, this 20 rooms is for the family members that are staying close at bedside and just got to get a little respite, get some sleep. The rooms are simple rooms, a bed, go to sleep. But you can go into the family room, if you will, and read a little bit or watch some TV. They could use 20 to 40 meals per night. And if you can provide a hot meal, please call 832-824-8600. That's 832-824-8600. Nancy Allen and her staff will be more than happy to help you. You can visit themeltdown.com and you can donate a tithe or an offering, just a money donation, if you will. The Downs Clinic banner, the Meyer Center, and the Ronald McDonald House are both at themeltdown.com. Click on the banners, provide the information. Your information and the amount you donate is totally anonymous, and I do not get any kind of a record of it. Please mention the Meltdown. I always appreciate that, of course. The Downs Clinic is very special to me, as is the Ronald McDonald House. My son Jason has mild Downs, and we dealt with an RSV situation back when he was about 6 weeks old. Then they took him to cardiology and did a double, an ASD and a VSD heart repair. And so this facility is extremely on my heart all the time. And I appreciate the doctors, the nurses, the staff, and the volunteers at Texas Children's throughout the medical center and around the world, because the kids need our love and our compassion. And this is just another way of doing it. Folks, my sign off every day is going to be that I love my son Jason and I miss you, son. I'll see you soon. Thank you for listening in. If you've got any questions, email me, Brett, B-R-E-T-T, at thegoldexchange.net. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And Jason, I hope I get to see you soon. Bye, baby.